It's time to wrap up the first series of Trash to Cash. Now, the aim behind this series was to start off with nothing, find something that's unused, unloved, basically something that someone's giving away for free, upcycle it, change it up a bit, and hopefully sell it for a profit, take the money from that to get something else, and so on and so forth. The main aim was to raise as much money as we could for our chosen charity, which in this case is the Birmingham Children's Hospital. If you didn't manage to catch the series, we'll leave a link to the playlist down below. There's 7 projects, so I'm sure there'll be something there to inspire. First up was a free marketplace find, and in this case it was an old corner unit. These old brownwood furniture pieces are either always going away for free, or if not free, close to it. My idea with this was to really strip it back, so I'll take the top off and change its use completely. I ended up turning it into a gaming corner unit. As I said, I removed the top, get it a nice sand down, filled all the different voids, sanded it smooth again, and then I gave it a coat of paint, added some nice detailing just to sell that it was a gaming piece, and even added some RGB lighting. And thankfully it went on to sell for £50. So because it cost us absolutely nothing to begin with, I already had the paint knocking around and I had that RGB light thankfully. So we had a total profit of £50 and we could take that on to the next episode. The second episode in the series was an old chair planter. Now this chair again was picked up for free and I ended up turning it into a planter for outside use. The chair was a bit tired, a bit rickety, it needed some fixing up doing to it, and in my mind I had this vision for a beautiful chair planter that would look beautiful with flowers in. I ended up choosing to use some decking to box out the bottom of the seat so we got some place to put compost. But in hindsight, that probably wasn't the best choice. I could have used a much nicer piece of wood. I did think decking would be better suited for outside, but just from an aesthetics point of view, I think I could have made a better choice on this one. In the end though, with a lick of paint, some flowers in, I don't think it was too bad, and it did end up selling. It ended up selling for £30, so after deducting costs of the decking and paint and stuff, we ended up with a profit of £18.65. And it was on to episode 3. Now episode 3 saw me take an IKEA Helmer filing cabinet and turning it into a waterfall. Now I know that's a bit out there, it's a little bit different, but that's the kind of styling that I like. It's really industrial looking and I could really see it fitting into somewhere like a roof terrace garden or just any kind of industrial setting. And it did sell, it sold for £50, but not to somebody who's got an industrial garden roof terrace like I imagined. It actually sold to the British Ironworks Centre. They're based in Oswald Street and they've got lots of pieces very similar to this waterfall. They make all sorts of artwork, sculptures, just different pieces of design, but the big selling point is that they're all made from scrap, things that people might throw away or have other uses, so this was right up my alley and I could definitely see the waterfall fitting right in. So with that selling for £50 and deducting all the costs, that ended up giving us a profit of £21 and 1p. Episode 4 saw me get an old commode and turn it into a more modernised seat with some hidden storage. Now I actually picked this up from a local reclamation yard round by me. It's full of hidden gems, so it's always worth having a look at your local reclamation yards. And so I took the toilet seat off, cleaned it up, glued up all the bits that was broken, sanded it all down, and I actually added a padded seat in there, added some nice detailing with some wallpaper into the bottom, and I gave it a lick of paint. I think the grey and the old wood styling does work really well on this, and I picked up the same fabric that was on the padded seat and added it to the pull-out footrest below, just to add that extra bit of detail. Now this did actually struggle to sell. For me, I thought it would fly. A lot of people that I've spoke to were saying they don't want a commode in their house, and I totally get that. It's not to everybody's taste, but thankfully, eventually, it did go and we managed to get £50 for it. So after deducting all the costs, that gave us a profit of £30 and 50p, and it was on to episode 5. Episode 5 is probably my favourite episode in the series. That saw me take a door that was being sold on clearance and I turned it into a garden bench in just 5 cuts. It was a really simple project, making just 5 cuts, sticking it back together in a different formation to form a garden bench, giving it a lick of paint, and job done. And this managed to sell really quickly as well. It went for £60, and after deducting the cost of the door, that gave us a profit of £35.50. Now in episode 6 I wanted to find something that I could make for in the garden, but something a bit more fun, so I ended up picking up an old tyre for free. Now these are a little bit awkward to get hold of, but if you've got a small independent garage by you, they will literally just give it away to you because they need to actually pay somebody to come and collect the tyres so they can be disposed of responsibly. So as long as you're reasoning behind why you want the tyre and you can explain what you're going to do with it, they should be more than happy to give you one. All I did with the tyre was cut it in half, which was a lot harder than I thought it would be. Using a hacksaw, it took me a long time to get through it, so if you've got a powered option, I'd definitely go down that route. But then I just added a scaffold board to the top, painted it with some garden paint and added a couple of handles. It works really well, you just got to find some friends to help you with it. And this did thankfully sell for £35, which gave us a profit of £20. And that leads nicely into the final episode, episode 7. In episode 7, I managed to find an old telephone table. These tables was in everybody's house back in the day. It'd sit in the hallway next to the one telephone that you would have. And telephones back then, they still had the cord on, so if you wanted to walk around the house, you couldn't walk around the house basically. So having a dedicated seat for somewhere to sit down and speak on the phone, it was like a modern revelation. So these are everywhere. You can find them for really cheap, and I managed to find a really nice one. It had got a padded seat to the side and a little drawer on the other side as well. I think the styling, while looking dated, it could lend itself really nice to being upcycled. So that's exactly what I did. I removed the padded seat, I added an actual solid tabletop instead. I added some discs to the top where the drawer is to make it look a little bit like a Lego brick, and that gives you a bit of an insight to what I'm doing with it. I actually turned it into a Lego table. So once it was all sanded down and I got the discs glued onto the one side to look like a Lego brick, I gave it all a coat of red paint. I also added some Lego plates where the padded seat used to be, and this will be the little table where you can actually play and build your Lego creations on. For the drawer, I actually used some Lego bricks as well, but as drawer handles, just a little nod back to it is a Lego table. And I was really pleased with the results. I personally really like this. And again, thankfully, this did finally sell. It took a lot longer than I thought it would. This was going to be one of those ones that I thought I'd put it up for sale and I'd have messages instantly. I had a lot of messages, is this still available? I'm interested, those kind of things, but it did take a while for it to eventually go. But in the end, we got £50 for it. And with the cost of buying the telephone table and paint and little bits and bobs, that gave us a profit of £20. So over 7 episodes, how much did we manage to raise for the Birmingham Children's Hospital? Well, we started with nothing, and throughout the 7 episodes we've added up the profit, and the final total is, can I get a drum roll? £195.66. Now that's a little bit of a weird figure, so of course we're going to round it up to 200. That money has been donated to the Birmingham Children's Hospital. It's a cause very close to all of our arts here at On a Budget, and for me personally, I literally wouldn't be here today without them, so I know firsthand the amazing work that they do over there. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's been involved in the series, all of your guys' support for watching, liking, sharing, and of course to the people that ended up actually purchasing the items at the end. It's going to be a massive help to the charity, and I just know how grateful they'll be. I really hope that you liked the series, and if you did like it, please let us know in the comments down below if you'd like to see a second series. I've got some ideas already what I'd like to do to change it up a little bit, but do let us know if it's something you'd like to see more of. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you click the subscribe button and click the little bell icon next to it. That way you'll get a notification as soon as we upload a new video. Thank you all for watching.